Okay, we have Mr. Mubu first, yeah, for the presentation. So I will opening first. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Researcher Academy episode 14. My name is Afifa, and I'll be your moderator for tonight. So, yeah, we have Mr. Mobo first for the topic maximizing the impact of published work. It is my pleasure to have Mr. Mobo as a distinguished academic and lecturer at the Philippine Merchant Marine Academy, known for his expertise in educational research, development education, and public administration. Mr. Mobo has authored numerous scholarly articles and book chapters, many indexed in prestigious databases like Scopus. So, Mr. Mobo, are you ready?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. So,
Okay.
uh, we have, my topic for tonight, it's about maximizing the impact of published work. This is about strategies for academic influence and reach. Since this is part of the prelude for the upcoming conference this coming December 14 and 15, this will be the part of how we will be able to start with the collaboration and internationalization, especially to all the participants who joined for tonight's event. So let me start, of course, on how we'll be able to maximize the impact of our published work since from day one into we already discussed about the publications and other things that we need to do in terms of the research journey. So part of that, before we start, our moderator have already mentioned about our upcoming conference. If you're interested, you can submit to our upcoming conference is up to extended up to November 15. So the topics that will be discussed for today are the following. Of course, we have to discuss about understanding the academic impact, enhancing visibility through open access journals, open access books, open access publications, and we would be able to have a topic on leveraging visibility for social media networking on how we would be able to increase our collaborations as part of our internationalization, especially in terms of research, part of that, partnerships, everything. So we will be able to increase the part of how we'll be able to capture a collaboration in terms of partnership, not only in the part of the Philippines, but in the international community as well, through our through research. Then we will be able to learn how to be able to cite those strategies and how we will be able to increase our citations. For example, if you're familiar with Google Scholars and SJR in the web of science, we will be able to increase our uh, of course our citations in terms of our publications and engaging with some policies and practices and measuring the impact and assessment and metrics of our citations in our publications itself. Of course, understanding the academic impact is a plays a pivotal role in our publications nowadays, including in our community. Because part of that in influence on scholarly work and citations, just like what I have mentioned to all of my students in the research, I always tell them that your research will be nonsense if you don't have any uh, citations. It's very important that you will be able to have your impact assessment by achieving a particular citation by starting by one up to increasing it up to the level that it will be able to have an impact, of course, not only to the part of your colleagues in the research, but also in the community as well on how it will be able to help, of course, how it will be able to relate to the best practices that you have done, if it's possible for policy formulation, policy development, and societal change, especially right now that when we talk about publications and doing research, it's not about how you publish, but it's how it will help our society in reaching out part of that, in making it more transformative in doing research. Another, of course, it will also help our institutions if you're in the academe part of increasing its academic ranking in terms of leveraging the status of university to the international ranking as well, part of the internationalization program, and how you'll be able to collaborate with the indifferent key players, researchers, scholars around the globe, just like what we are doing uh, for tonight. This is part or starting point on how we would be able to collaborate or to gain new friends, especially on the part of the research community, because as we all know, our community is part of how you will be able to know some friends, for example, from the criminology sector, from the education sector, or from other sector that will play a pivotal role in creating or writing research that will be able to contribute in our community as well. So those are the part of how we would be able to think the relevance to the industry right nowadays, even we are now working in the various sectors, and how it will become a policy development, and it will leverage our society. Just like what I always told my students, it's not about the requirements that you will be able to comply with the institution. It's about how you will be able to complete a research, and if it's possible for possible funding, and up to the level that it will be able to help strengthen our advocacy in our community, then that will be a big part for us in knowing that our research is very important, especially it will be part of creating the best practices in our community. So it's very important that when we do a part of the academic impact, we see to it that especially when we start a particular topic for our research, we have to make it to the point that it will be able to target our key players, our industry, and it's part of how you will be able to collaborate with some new press, just like what we have right now. We have our second speaker from India. He's one of my friend, of course, from the research part, who is really active also in doing some research. So it's a good starting point on how you will be able to gain friends, comrades from the research community to gain possible partnership, and of course, for possible start of a memorandum of agreement or memorandum of understanding for possible strengthening the mandate of our research community, especially if we are working in the academe or working in the industry that will be a big pivotal role in doing the research part, which is another opportunity for us to be aware that those things are really a good start when we create those kind of course, engagement. Another part of that is that the types of impact in terms of doing research is that when we talk about citation, it's a measure of how your research is being influential in the academic circles or academic community. Just like what I had mentioned from time to time in all my classes or subject in the research courses, is that I always tell them it's not about the number of publications that we have. It's about the impact assessment that you will be able to gain from the community itself. For instance, let's say in a matter of 1 year, if your research doesn't earn any citation, I think there's a problem with it. But if your research gain one citation, it will increase after a couple of days, months, or years. So that's the starting point, that which means that the visibility of your paper really makes an emphasis that it is something like it will be helpful in the academic circles, and of course it will be able to create a starting point on how you will be able to collaborate. Maybe they will be able to adapt your questionnaire if it's possible to help strengthen or also other studies, because it's part on how we would be able to leverage how the research committee will be able to make the strong binding in terms of doing the number of citation, and make it to the point that it will be more influential in terms of how we will be able to come up with a good uh, research that will become a policy making to make to the point that it will be possible for funding. It will be something like become a law, other things that will be able to help our society to become a more transformative uh, organization. Another, there are things that you have to consider. For example, if we're going to look for some citations metrics or bibliometrics, for example, we have our metrics, the Google Scholar. Those things are part or platform that we could be able to get some citations or English or citations coming from other scholars also. Just like what I mentioned during our first day of webinar, I told you guys, if you still remember that the SJR and the Google Scholar, even the ResearchGate, even the Philippine e-journals, has their own platform of measuring the assessment or the impact assessment of your research. And it's very important for a researcher or a scholar to gain citations because if you don't have those citations, your research uh, doesn't make sense. So it's very important that if you publish an article, you always have to make sure that it will be more helpful to society to become more transformative. Something like that. Particularly if you're talking about innovation, something like uh, inventing a new technology, a new AI platform, whether it's a software or hardware, or invented a new device that could be able to leverage our society in a more smartful way that could be able to leverage all policies to integrate all those things. Just like what I have always told my students in the graduate school, even in my uh, undergraduate level, that it's very important that when you come up with a good research, something like it will gain an impact, of course, because we are talking about how visible your research is in terms of those uh, platforms that we have, and talking about engagement, it will be able to increase the public's interest, the audience interest, and in how they will be able to interact with your work. And it's very important. That's why when you publish your article and when you come up with a good proposals or other things in terms of research, you always have to consider, of course, the audience impact. Try to consider, of course, how we would be able to gain the interest of your of the public interest, the reader's attention on how they will be able to read, and later they will be able to cite, and maybe they will be able to share your craft to other research community as well. So that would be a good start as part of the types of impact on how you will be able to gain some big assessment, starting from one citation until it will increase and it will leverage, just like what I have experienced starting from my first citations during the time of the pandemic. If I gained a citation of one, two, as of now, I already have around 260, increasing up to 300 citations. So this is a good figure because I already have an H index of 9 and an I index of 9, which is being part of that. It means it is something like it really contributes on the research community. Something like those factors that I have published, it will be more transformative that might be able to help strengthen the community in different sectors, especially that it's more of the multidisciplinary, whether some of the advocates in research would be able to come up with some good proposals that could be able to leverage some problems that they've encountered along their journey. For example, if it's particularly on focusing on the community base, other things that could be able to help strengthen the situations right now. And those are practice-based impact that could be able to apply in the real world settings, just like what I always mention to my students. It's not about complying with the requirements in the institution. It's about how it will be able to give impact to the society. So when you do a research proposal, always try to consider, of course, the part of how it will contribute to the research community, how it will help your leverage your institution as well. Because on my part, as a researcher, even it's a part of my requirement, for example, uh, to graduate from a particular program or to finish a program, I always consider that doing this kind of research will be able to give impact, give insights, or help our community and our stakeholder as well. So those things are a good opportunity to start to how we will be able to increase our uh, citations, types of impact, and everything that could be able to become more pivotal, of course, to our society as well. Of course, when we talk about enhancing the visibility through open access, of course, it's a good opportunity. That's why a lot of people, I don't know with other advocates, that part of publishing or article in an open access, of course, it's a good opportunity. But if you're after with the income, of course, you go for with the register or subscription fee. If you're after with the royalty fee. But part of me as an advocator and the research is that my advocacy is, of course, to help our community in terms of how they will be able to learn on the part of making themselves aware on how they will be able to craft our research, something like helping them to be more educated in terms of how they will be able to craft a good paper in terms of publishing article. And another part of that, open access will be able to give you a wide readership and greater certification possibility. So meaning, it's a part of if you're after with some university ranking, just like for example, if you're familiar with other ranking that we have, the bibliometrics, those things would be able to help increase the citation because of the visibilityness using the open access. Because if you're going to open a particular article, which is published on an open access, especially if it's indexed in Scopus, a lot of scholars or researchers will be able to read your article and they will be able to understand the reason why you're doing that because one of your aims and goal is to help the community as well. So those things will be able to encourage individual by sharing their output, and maybe part of that it will be the starting point that it will be part of how they will be able to help their community and other scholars and other scientists or other advocates in terms of doing the part of the research. And it's very important on that when we talk about those kind of systematic approaches in doing this kind of other things in terms of how we leverage through that system. So it's very important that when we talk about these things, it's very important that we always uh, consider its openness and how do we be able to increase and how do we be able to have a collaboration, partnership, and of course, creating a world of how they will be educated in terms of how this research become more transformative in sharing your craft and of course your innovations, your talent and skills in doing a good manuscript or doing paper that will be able to encourage them also to that if Dr. Mobo can do it, might as well everybody knows how to do it also. So those things are part of some encouragement on how you will be able to craft or start those kind of strategies that will be able to enhance the visibility through open access. That's why, for example, in the International Journal of Multidisciplinary Applied Business and uh, Education Research, we are really advocating and promoting the part of being open access because the number one of our mission, of course, to help other scholars or even students to uh, give, of course, other things and knowledge them on how they would be able to increase the visibility and their knowledge that this type of advocacy would be the start of you can create collaborations, increase an impact assessment of your research that become more transformative or later can become a policy making that will be able to enrich, of course, the institution as well and other things that could be able related to your area. Then the strategies that other scholars is doing right now, even the institution, especially for working in the government or academics, we tend to publish that in an open access journal and explore its repeatability and its wide reach. For instance, just like what I mentioned during the second, it's about the Scopus publication. If we talk about the repeatability itself, we talk about how we publish that and we'll be able to catch a lot of readers in terms of its visibility. That's number one thing that we have to consider in terms of reputability and its wide range coverage, especially in the global international market, that if we have this kind of reputations in terms of how you write an article, how you will become more transformative, how you will be able to increase your visibility in anything, those things are really important strategies on how you will be able to connect in the in this kind of industry, especially if you're going to strengthen your mandate. If we talk about the kind of research that will be able to leverage our institution, especially that nowadays, for instance, in us like teachers or faculty, we're really being encouraged to come up with a research proposal that might be able to help our universities, our college to strengthen its reputation in advocating their policies and guidelines or helping leverage their ranking or even their faculty ranking to help them that this kind of advocacy will be able to help us to look for some new or explore some new possibilities to create some policies or other things to make it to a point that this is kind of policies would be able to encourage other scholars or students that the research is really, it gives important. And especially when we use repositories, for instance, when we publish our article in a open access, usually they prefer to have a preprint or final look versions to be kept in repository, just like what we are doing in the International Journal of Multidisciplinary Applied Business and Education Research. We have a lot of repositories. For example, we have repositories from the Philippine e-journal, and another, for example, we have from other sources, databases that is inclined with the International Indexing Body. For example, we have the IDSCO. We also have other European repository or indexing that could be able to help our journal to increase its visibility and of course to open its door for opportunity in other areas that could be more diverse. So those things are very important when we have repository. For instance, in my Google, in my Scopus account, I have a one preprint uh, published article which is stored in the database of Scopus and or on the LCBR uh, repository, and that's an opportunity for possible collaboration because of using this kind of open access platform. Another, when we talk about in community engagement, collaborations with different platforms, for instance, like ResearchGate or academia itself, or even Google Scholar or SGR, we talk about that these strategies could be able to increase that we are our visibility, that we are really committed, not only that we are uh, increasing our publication, but we could be able to help other scholars maybe to motivate them that if Dr. Mobo can do it, maybe all of us will be able to do it as well. That we would be able to help the community of full of experts to strengthen, of course, the mandate of their university in terms of how they would be able to strategize in terms of openness, in terms of their impact assessment of their research. Those things are very important when we talk about strategy itself. Another, when we leverage, of course, using the social media networking, this is how we do it. Increase visibility of our published work. This is an opportunity, of course, for a direct interaction with the global audience. But sometimes there are some uh, part of they use social media in some abusive way. But knowing that the purpose of having a social media platform could be able to increase, could be able to leverage our visibility in terms of creating an opportunity for some transformative collaboration, possible internationalization and partnership that could be able to help our community as well. So those things are the basic things that we could be able to know and to be more interactive and dynamic if we're talking about how do we leverage social media and networking as part of that. For me, using this kind of platform, for example, by having a community of friends, we could be able to create a pool of experts, especially by using this kind of platform and increase our visibility of our published works and by sharing our output in the community as well and to be cited later on that this thing is a part of we create a group of possible potential expert that could soon be rise and would soon be recognized for a possible to give an impact, of course, to the society. So those things are the techniques on how you will be able to leverage your output using some platforms in social media as part for collaboration. For instance, using Facebook, so using LinkedIn and other social media platform that could be able to increase your visibility. Of course, that will be able to help to gain your research more citations. So it's very normal for us to use to use this kind of platform, but also be aware of some uh, challenges along the way. So those things are very important that we should be aware of some challenges or we should be able to be curious enough when we use this kind of platform on how to leverage and increase our networking because those in every challenges that we go along the way, there are some risks that we need to mitigate. And it's very important that we should be able to take some strategies, just like what I mentioned a while ago, on how to leverage to overcome those challenges, especially if we have encountered some problems in our journey to our research and to our published work. So it's very important to think of some possibilities like using of the power of social media, or if we want to create some partnership, networking with other colleagues, not only in the Philippines, but in the international community as well, those will be the part of opportunity that will be able to increase the visibilityness of our research in the community. It's really a good start. So platforms, just like what I mentioned a while ago, there's a lot of platforms that we can engage with other scholars, share our insights, and promote our article. So those things are basic. For instance, let's say we have a Twitter, you can encourage your scholars, just like what I'm doing. I always shared my impact assessment that may cite number of citations or share some insights about how you will be able to promote your work in terms of doing your research advocacy. So those things are very an important factor on how you will be showcase your achievement, not by bragging. Of course, you will be able to encourage other potential scholars or researchers to be engaged in this kind of advocacy. Because by sharing your article, could be able to connect with peers and it could be able to increase citations as well. So I hope you get my point that this kind of platforms, especially that we are now interconnected using the technology, using the internet, whether there is a part of using some platforms in the IoT, Internet of Things, leveraging with a lot of distributed network, it is important on how we will be able to manage and use this kind of social media platform, research platform, on how we will be able to increase our reputations, and of course how we will be able to explain how we work with this kind of specialization, especially that nowadays a lot of us are using technology. And part of that awareness is of course, it will be able to help other scholars that this platform is a startup of an opportunity for possible in clear collaborations, just like what I have done during the time of pandemic, by using the internet, of course, by attending some conferences, I was able to have a collaboration with my friends in the research community. by making this collaborated with this group, the Future Science, and of course, other group in the international research community. So those things are really an important part on me. That's the reason why I'm really being motivated that by engaging this kind of advocacy, you would be able to showcase all your achievements and they would be able to help you on how you will be guided in accordingly in terms how you will be able to maximize your research potential, increase your citations, share your insights in the international community. Those things are very important. By, for example, if you want to showcase that in a blog or in a podcast, everything, it's always important that we should be able to use that. There's a question on that, no? For example, how can open access platform help researchers from developing countries? Yes, of course. If we talk about that, I will answer that, Ma'am Fisher. How can open access platform help researchers from developing countries collaboration? Of course, it will really help, especially if your research is something like for your institution. Just like, for example, if it will be a win-win on both part of your in the graduate school of De La Salle and also with your work, yeah, especially if you're going to come up with a research, if it's something like on the part of economic trends that would be able to become more transformative, especially if you're looking for that particular research, which is something like captivating enough. Just like what I always trying to tell you that if you're going to come up with some research proposal, it must be smart enough to help to gauge your friends, of course, to encourage them to collaborate with you. Just like what I'm doing, I'm practicing multidisciplinary. That's why I always told my friends we can publish an article for possible funding that could help strengthen the, for example, during the time of pandemic, we have a problem in terms of economic downsizing, everything. I think we can create some studies on how we will be able to leverage our problems in terms of economy. So those things could be able to help especially for those developing countries, just like in the Philippines, that we still belong to the third world country, we have to think of a possible ways and means, for example, coming up with a smart campus, smart city research that could be able to help strengthen our advocacy and to become a policy making thing that could help our government to strengthen some policies that we all know that here in the Philippines, we have a colorful law or policies. Maybe through your advocacy and doing a research, it can become more transformative, guys. No, just like creating a part a scholarly output that could be able to help invite them creating some a theoretical framework. For instance, so let's say if you want to create your own framework, a policy that could be able to strengthen all things if your area is more on the part of law of making body or in the part of in the education, you might be able to help contribute something from a developed countries down to the third world country, just like what we have. So those things are really helpful in crafting a good manuscript. It's not just about compliances, guys. It's about on how you will be able to contribute. That's the reason why uh, every time that we talk about research, it's very important that we have to think of its possibility. Some recommendations that from coming up with the specific topics, it might be able to help to contribute us and leverage that, of course, in other audience as well. Okay? So those things are very important that when we come up with an article, especially that we will be having some conferences, it's not after with the compliances, just like what I mentioned to you guys. It's how you strengthen your advocacy to help the research community. Okay? So the challenges of collaborating, no, just to continue with the questions, with some open access is, of course, there are some challenges along the way because sometimes there are some scammers. So those some preventions that you have to make sure is to double check their identity or possible collaboration. For example, if they just after with the money, you have to check their reputations as well. So those things are very important when you collaborate. Just like what I have started with some of my friends in Indonesia, in Pakistan. I have some friends in Turkey. I was able to create a collaborations with them because of some things that if we would be able to come up with a good policy making body, just like in the future science, my friend Dr. Dididik is a good friend of mine that uh, we started this kind of advocacy doing research that it's not only that we are after with the business, but it's how we would be able to help the research community in encouraging them to uh, come up with this kind of open access opportunity that will be able to leverage the type of increasing the peers, the international things. So those things are what we are doing right now. Though there's some challenges along the way, but doing this kind of advocacy will be able to strengthen and help strengthen our policy, just like what we are doing right now. This kind of virtual platform might be an opportunity for us to create an internationalization in other things that we could be able to do. So because on my part, we are talking of the equal opportunities for all. It's not about uh the culture that we have, even we have some different culture, it's part of we can also boost our opportunity to have an equal opportunity to all. And it's very important to increase that. Especially that in the Philippines, I know that there's an opportunity to strengthen the literacy on how we would be able to come up with those research part. And another, of course, it's very important. Of course, networking. I already mentioned about that by attending some conferences, just like what we are doing. It's very important, not about the compliances, but it's about the the impact and the opportunity that when you attend a particular uh maybe an online conference or a face-to-face, it's not about, of course, the maybe after the conference, you will go to other place, but it's about what you will be able to learn. An opportunity to collaborate, engage some online platforms, and to know that if you're going to attend this kind of conference and you would be able to connect with friends, experts, just like what we have. I have already collaborated with some friends. Actually, to tell you honestly, with those speakers that we have, all those speakers are my good friends. Dr. Ali, Dr. Mustafa, and Dr. Muntasar are my good friends in our community because this is just a small community that we are working on. So it's very important that we could be able to increase the visibility, collaborating with some friends in the same field, even we are in different sector areas. It's very important that we could be able to know our advocacy. For example, if there's an opportunity to help other countries as well, we could be able to give our expertise in doing those collaboration and engagement by doing some networking with peers, experts in the research community, just like what we are doing right now to strengthen, of course, the part of collaboration, doing an internationalization partnership with other international group. But along the way, you should be careful in choosing or not choosing but collaborating because sometimes they're I do not know guys because sometimes they're I don't know with their visions but maybe it depends on how you will be able to know them then by knowing their mandates in their group. So it's very important that it should always be a clear there should be clear policies and guidelines in terms of partnership and collaboration so that those will be the start of how you will be able to create a partnership and friendship in this kind of endeavor. And it's very important that this collaboration will be a good start on how you will be able to become more in talking about globalization and international organization. It's very important that you should be dynamic enough and should be transformative enough if we network with scholars by attending these conferences and webinars, engaging in academic forums, by being visible in other platforms, just like what I'm doing. That's the reason why every time, for example, we have classes in the graduate school, even the undergrad, I always told my students that I always encourage them that there's an opportunity in doing research or doing some innovations, and it will be able to leverage your skills and your possible potential to create a networking of peers in the community as well. So collaborations and partnership is very essential, of course, nowadays. Talking about how we uh, increase, of course, the rankings of possible partnership with some a higher education institution in the Philippines, and of course, I know in the international community, they are always open for to expand for possible opportunities and audience as well by, for example, collaborating, doing a possible research by different multidisciplinary areas. For example, just like what we have conducted with some of my friends from the Pakistan, from Indonesia, we have come up with a possible study that could be able to be more beneficial, of course, in the Philippines and also to give high impact in the research. Yes, ma'am. You want to ask something? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You want to ask?
Yes,
So
sir.
this,
You were talking about collaboration, right?
yeah.
So my curiosity is that what are the best strategies for researchers to find collaborators with complementary skills on open access platforms?
For example, by attending some conferences, ma'am, just like this one, attending webinars, that you could be able to have an interest in doing some research, and then later, maybe
Um, here, there are some, well, things with,
sorry, was disconnected. Uh, I'll be
yes,
sharing. I'm sorry, I was disconnected. So talking about those opportunities, just like what Ma'am Fisher mentioned about, the starting point, of course, if you have attended some series of webinars or conferences, just like what I've done before, that's the opportunity for you to collaborate with some experts in the global industries, just like what I have done. We have able to come up with this kind of collaboration. So maybe you can uh, do some projects with them by coming up with a multidisciplinary, just like what I have done with some of my friends from Pakistan, from Turkey. We have come up with a good research, a collaborative research that uh, help our institution as well to increase its uh, visibility in terms of research. Of course, that's one of the advocacy also of our government right now to strengthen, of course, the partnership and of course to come up with the so-called internationalization. So by attending those conferences, whether it's a face-to-face or online, those things. So that will be a good opportunity. Just like during the time of pandemic, I grabbed that opportunity that I was able to uh, start with this kind of business, the future science. I was able to make my friends in the research community by knowing my friends, just like Dr. Mustafa, Sir Dididik as well, all these things. That's the starting point through collaborations and partnerships in the international community. And those are things that also help my institution, uh, the Philippine Merchant Marine Academy, and also I was able to meet you guys from the De La Salle University and other institution that will be able to start our research community engagement and to increase the visibility for possible to foster collaboration. So all those things are part of how we will be able to start collaborations as well. So it's very important that we take those opportunity, even it's on my part. If you're going to ask me, what is the best thing to attend? It depends. If you want to attend face-to-face conferences or online, online is also a good opportunity to start with collaboration. To start working with some networking with scholars around the globe, just like what I have done during the time of pandemic. I take that opportunity to open its door, to create a uh, something like this, a network of experts. So I was able to do it. And I was able to increase my citations and the overall visibility in doing this kind of advocacy also. So this conference that we're going to conduct this coming December 14 and 15, we'll be able to start a good opportunity. Of course, uh, all of you in the graduate school or even you guys as a professional, it will be a good starting point for you to open its door for this kind of opportunity to collaborate and exchange with some ideas that might be able to foster your expertise as well. So if you're going to ask me, guys, take this opportunity, okay, to have some possible collaborations in the future. But along the way, there are some challenges. How you mitigate them? By doing some policies, okay? So doing collaboration is not bad. Of course, it will be able for you to become more transformative and an opportunity to open its door. And it's a good part of rationalizing that this is so-called thing that this is really we call really the start of how we would be able to do the research part. It's not about how you comply with the requirements. It's about how you will increase your visibility. And of course, the strategies that you're going to do some collaborate publications, co-authorship. But again, be careful because there are some opportunities that might be able to give some negative implications. Okay, so be careful on that in terms of collaborative publications because there are some negative impact also sometimes. So be sure that if you're going to collaborate with some international group, be sure that they will be doing some honest advocacy in doing the research ethic parts. And of course, same with the industry partnerships, just like what we are doing in the future science, we are open for collaborations. This upcoming conference is a collaborative partnership with the group uh, from Turkey, group from a collaborative group in Pakistan and also in the Philippines. We collaborated to this kind of opportunity to help our students and also researchers to create a possible networking. And that is one of our advocacy to help strengthen the research community as well by doing some internationalization, not only in the part of the making it more localizing some opportunities, but creating a possible industry partner linkages and increase its international partnership by working together, knowing that if you're going to do this kind of advocacy, guys, for instance, help them to invite with other uh, experts, just like what we're doing right now. We have friends from the Indonesia area. I think we also have friends from the India community. All those people behind our international community will be able to foster possible or strengthen a partnership that could start a possible collaborative applications that can create a possible uh, impact to your institution as well. So take this opportunity not just like by complying with the requirements, but an opportunity to become more diversified in terms of the impact uh, assessment or opportunity that will be able to become more reasonable that in doing those kind of research, it is something like it's the impact on the part of making it more in the real world scenario. Okay? Yes, Ma'am Fisher.
Sure, to feed up my curiosity with the ethical considerations, what are the ethical considerations in collaborating through open access platforms?
In terms of ethical standards, in terms of collaboration, be sure that when you conduct collaborative partnership, you have to set some regulations. Of course, that's number one. In terms of uh, publishing your article in a reputable journal or reputable publisher, because there are some also a lot of fake or predatory publishers that might be able to lure you guys. And there are also some group that might be able to take the opportunity that they will be able to invite you. So be careful on that. Sometimes they are just after with the income. So be sure that their intentions to collaborate is really purely on the part of helping you to create a possible partnership and strengthen on that. So be careful and set some standards. If you want to enter some memorandum of agreements to make it more meaningful, no, I know that the policy of the Philippines in other countries are different, but you can still do that, entering some MOUs or something like to be more legal in terms of some collaboration, just like what we have done in our institutions, in my publication. We enter into a memorandum of understanding to make it more legally binded in terms of how ethical we do. Because I know that that in this kind of opportunity, there's a lot of fraud transactions going on. And be careful on that. Okay? I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of challenges along the way. Part of the mitigation process is to check the how they are really should I say visible in terms of how they will be more responsive about talking about a particular group, if they're really responsive enough and they're really uh transparent in terms of how they will be able to share their policies and guidance. So you can take that opportunity. Always remember that when you collaborate, it's not about uh after with the income, it's about how you will be able to start with a partnership and maybe later part, if you're going to start up with a business, on the latter part, it depends on how you will be able to engage with them. It's a case-to-case basis. So those are some key strategies to collaborate publications. Start with an industry academic linkage for international partnership. And I know that the advocacy of the higher education right now, it's about the transformational changes, the internationalization is part of how you will be able to create a possible partnership in the community of research, not just only in the part of creating a collaborative partnership with the research community, but to earn friends from the community as well. So of course, citation strategies that you can do, for example, if you have heard of the Google Scholar or SEED ResearchGate profiles, it will be the start that it will increase your visibilityness in coming up with some key strategies in becoming more visible. And by doing a good starting point in writing up a good research output, you could be able to publish your work, and you could be able to help them collaborate. Good evening, my dear friend, Dr. Rana. We are so happy that you're here. And you could be able to leverage the citations database such as looking for the database in Scopus and also in the Web of Science thing. And of course, always take note that we have some policies and practices. By translating research to practice, engaging with policymakers, just like what I mentioned, if you're going to make it more legally binded, it's good on that part. By doing a memorandum of agreement, memorandum of uh, understanding, it will be part of how it will be more clear on the aspects of both sides of the group. And by doing some community outreach and other things such as doing public lectures, other things, engaging in media interviews and other things that you'll be able to help to increase your visibilityness in doing this kind of advocacy. And of course, measuring the impact and other metrics, of course, these platforms like Google Scholars, Scopus, and other things, it will really help you to increase your citations. It's not about the impact of the journal. It's about how your article will be helpful to become more transformative in the research community. So tracking tools, of course, your article will be indexed in Google Scholars, uh, or it might be indexed in ORCID in other databases that will be able to help your research to invite possible potential readers that might cite your article soon. So again, that would be my last slide. Again, I would like to invite you guys for the upcoming conference. And we talk about fostering collaboration. Guys, telling you this will be the start, an opportunity for us to collaborate, to make new friends in the international community. We have our second speaker later. We have Dr. Arun Kumar from India. We have, of course, during the conference, we will be able to meet from Malaysia, Dr. Ali Azhar from Pakistan, Dr. Muntasar, and of course, yours truly from the Philippines, and Dr. Mustafa Emek from uh, Turkey. So this will be a good opportunity for us to start to foster internationalization and collaboration, and of course, to help our country as well to increase our visibilityness in doing this kind of research advocacy. So I hope that I was able to help you and uh, transfer my knowledge regarding this kind of topic for tonight. So that would be my last part of my discussion. So thank you for attending, and we will now go for the second speaker. Thank you guys, and good evening. Stay safe always.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mobo, for that insightful presentation. Because we have reached the time limit, so let's go start to the second speaker, Prof. Rana. Okay, are you ready, Prof? Okay, Prof.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes,
Arun
ma'am. I'm
Kumar
ready.
Rana.
I'm ready,
Yes.
ma'am.
From Galgotias College of Engineering and Technology in India. He holds a Bachelor of Technology degree from Kurukshetra University and advanced degrees including a Master's and PhD in IoT and fog computing from Maharishi University. His research spans across artificial intelligence, IoT, AR, VR, and data security in smart homes, with multiple publications on enhancing technology in healthcare and smart systems. Please join me in welcoming him. Prof. Rana, time is yours.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the introduction. Let me share my screen. Just
Yes,
allow
please.
me. My screen visible.
Yes.
Is it full screen now?
Yes, sir.
First, I would like to thank you, ma'am, and team for inviting for the wonderful conference, for the wonderful topics. Now, today I will discuss about the understanding of journals and conference ranking. Just explain about the how you can identify the journals, how you can identify the conference, so that you can proceed for the publication of the papers. First, we should know about the journal papers and conference paper. What are the difference between journal paper and conference paper? And then after that, we will find the how we can find the impact of the journals papers and conference papers. Now, first one is the conference paper. In conference paper, just we have to meet with some researcher and we have to make some research paper about 4 to 5 pages so that we can present the idea and we can proceed the result for the further discussion. In conference paper, just we have to make some submission about 4 to 5 pages according to the submission details so that we can proceed after the acceptance given by the authorized body. Now, a conference paper is an event where researchers worldwide can participate and present their research in front of other researchers. In the conference, we know about whenever we are going to present our paper, we have to face good researchers so that we can get feedback, we can get some valuable information so that we can incorporate the data in our paper so that we can find the impact of the papers. The conference enables researchers to meet with other researchers where this is the one of the biggest benefit of the researcher. We just meet some other researcher with different fields and then we get some information, then we utilize the information so that we can produce better result paper in the future. This is one of the best advantage of the conference, to meet researcher and get some feedback about the research so that we can update further and further to make our research strengthen to get the values. The conference enables researchers to meet with other researchers, seek feedback on their research, strengthen their network, and establish research collaborations. Like I am contact Dr. Mobo, and like that, we just make a network, and with the help of network, we get some good ideas, we get some trending topics, so that publisher, yeah, conference organizer can get the acceptance, can prove the acceptance to the papers. So this is one of the key elements in conference to meet the researcher, get the feedback, and establish research collaboration. One of the most weapon in the research field to get the ideas. For the students in the early research phase, it is advisable to participate in the conference. Actually, students just have the basic idea, how to find the topic, how to proceed the topic, and how to execute the topic. So the conference is one of the best phase for the student to present their idea, to get the feedback, to make the stronger input for the further research. Then for the students in the early research phase, it is advisable to participate in the conference, present their research, seek comments and suggestions, and establish a collaborative research. Our conference is one of the best phase for the initial research so that we can find the gateway for a better result. To participate in the conference, researcher draft the summary of a research work in 4 or 5 pages as per the predefined format. Like IEEE, Springer, these are the conferences body who organize some conferences. They provide format for the research paper. We have to follow the format. We have to make a paper according to the format. Then we have to submit to the conference. After the peer review process, we get the acceptance if paper having some quality. Then the paper would be peer reviewed by the reviewed panel. In this just conference body decides some good quality researcher for peer reviewed process. After the peer review process, then we just get some kind of minor revision, major revision, or we can get directly acceptance by the conference. If paper is accepted, author will be invited to the register and present their paper during the conference. This is one of the best time whenever researcher meet to the different expert in the different field so that they can get the feedback, comments by the organizer, reviewers. The final paper will be published once the paper is present during the conference. After the presentation, paper then transfer to the proceeding. Proceeding may be IEEE proceeding may be Springer proceeding. This will depend on the organizing team. The conference presented paper collected is often known as the conference proceeding. Now the journal paper. Journal paper is one of the most important research scenario paper. In this, we have to make strong result, and we have to make many mathematical calculations so that we can get some graphical value. Then after some review process, then paper gets some minor revision, major revision, or maybe accepted or maybe rejected. This will depend on the comments of the reviewers. A journal is a platform that publishes research article periodically, be it quarterly, monthly, or yearly. This will depend on the publishing authority or journal conditions. They decide how we can process the journal acceptance, rejection, and processing for the publishing of the full value. The journal article are full length, comprehensive compared to the conference paper, demanding rigorous and extensive research work so that they can get the better result. The communicated research paper to the journal go through a research review process, which is highly sophisticated than the conference review process. Yes, journal paper is very high level paper as compared to the conference paper. Conference paper may be accept lightly paper, but in case of journal paper, we have to follow good process, peer review process. Let me show you one of the example of good journal paper. Now, this is very high impact journal paper. I am showing then what kind of information required. This is journal paper, and the journal having very good review process. In this, you can see abstract, quality of abstract. In abstract, we have to show some kind of difference, value difference, how your work is improved than other work, like that. And in case of introduction, then you have to show mandatory about the motivations and contributions. And then you have good literature survey with a comparative table. In comparative table, you have to show all parameters like privacy, security, reliability, like that. These are different parameters. Then we have to compare, then we have to show your work is better than other work. Why? These are the literature survey with tabular form. We have to make. And then our work, proposed work. In this, we have to show everything is attained. You can see here, everything is attained in this work. Then you have to show some mathematical modeling. You have to show your model, architecture with neat and clean diagram. Every diagram should be neat and clean, made by you. Mathematical equation, mathematical modeling, and then good comparison graphical value. These are the graphs. In journal paper, we have to maintain these things in proper manner. I mean to say, first we have good abstract, then introduction having contribution and motivation, then literature survey and literature survey with tabular form. In table, we have to define everything and gives good comparison, then have good architecture, then methodology, then result section comparison, like that. This is the example of good journal paper and accepted in high impact journal. This journal was High International Journal of Communication System, IJCS, High Impact Journal of Village. The communicated research paper to the journal go through rigorous review process and highly sophisticated and the conference review process. Article can go through multiple peer review iterations demanding major or minor revision. We just, in case of a good journal, paper will be forward to these 6 to 7 reviewers. Then they will give minor or major revision depending on the quality of the paper. They may be rejected. In this case, journal editor may be rejected paper at the first stage. If journal editor just check the quality, if quality passed, then it will be forward to the peer review process. The accepted paper will be published online within a few days or a month of the acceptance. This is the policy of the journal. In contrast with the conference paper, there is no physical gathering and presentation. All the communication would be go through email, through journal website. They will maintain the data and update you about the condition of the paper. Also, there will not be any registration fee for the journal paper. This may be depend. If journal is unpaid, then you have not to pay anything. If journal is open access, then this will depend on the journal policy. Then what would be the charge? Now, this is the basic difference of conference paper. You can see in this slide, concise, lengthy, short, heavy, high, medium, complexity. Complexity medium in the case of conference paper. But in case of journal, then you have to make complex paper. You have to show mathematical modeling, you have to show architecture, and you have to show how your research is better than previous research. This is very, very important PPT. In this, you can see difference between conference and journal processing. For the conference, you can see theme. Theme, what do you mean by theme? Theme, matlab, theme may be based on IoT, based on material, based on design, based on machining, based on mechanical, based on artificial intelligence. This is the theme for the conference. Theme have we decided. Then organizer. Organizer may be IIT and IT, IEEE, ASME, Springer. These are the theme. If you are going to submit paper, then first you have to check the theme of the conference and organizer. This show the conference having impact and will be useful for your paper. Organizer should be IEEE, Springer, ASME, IIT, and IIT. This will be good for your research paper. If you are submitting paper without the organizer, without the theme, then this is the waste of your paper. Now in journal may be unpaid, paid. All time we have to prefer unpaid journal for quality work. If you are going for the paid, then you will not get better indexing, better result for the future in your career. Indexing, you know very well, I think indexing may be divided into Scopus indexing and SCI indexing. These are the database. If your paper is going in Scopus and SCI indexing, this will be good. If journal not following these are indexing, then this will be waste of your paper. Then so whenever you are going to making some kind of research, first we have to check the impact of the journal, impact of the conference. If these kind of impact having the conference or journal, then you should proceed for the publishing work. Thank you so much. Sorry for delayed. Actually, I was busy in the college meeting, so I joined after some time. So thank you for the organizer. Thank you for the Mobo sir who invite for me the conference. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Rana, for that insightful presentation. We have a question from Miss Marilo. Sir, which type of paper is better for presenting early stage research or preliminary results?
Sorry, just repeat. Repeat.
Which
Which
type of paper is better for presenting early stage research or preliminary results?
at the early stage of research, just we have to present review paper. Review. We have to just go through the past. We have to do literature survey. We have to find, like I am working in the field of IoT. We have to just download paper 2020, 21, 22, 23. Then we have to make literature survey. Then we have to find architecture, methodology, what kind will be used for the future. Then we have to work on the result paper. First, we have to work on literature paper. Then we have to work on result paper.
Okay, got it. Okay, one question again. How do conference papers and journal papers differ in terms of publication speed?
Sorry, I have just voice
Uh,
problem then.
okay. How do conference papers and journal papers differ in terms of publication speed?
Journal paper and conference paper, just we have to just check the quality of our work. If your work quality is low, actually I am researcher, I know what kind of quality I have in the paper. If quality is good, then we have to go for the journal paper. If quality of paper is mid or low, then we have to prefer conference.
Okay, is there some question from others?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, maybe one question from me, Mr. Rana.
Yes.
How do you see the future of journal and conference rankings evolving, especially in the context of increasing online and open access publishing?
Conference, actually, my opinion is in conference or in journal, just editor, organizer have to focus on the quality of the research. If someone giving research paper to the organizer or journal editor and some amount, then accepting the result, then these kind of result will be very dangerous for the society. So we have to maintain quality for the research so that research should be useful for the futures. If someone getting some amount and accepting paper, this is dangerous for everyone.
Okay, got it, sir. One question again from Miss Marilo. Can conference papers lead to journal publications?
Yes, actually many conference organizer just get the good paper, and after that the paper will be submitted to the journal. These things mentioned in the conference website, paper acceptance, after acceptance of the paper will be forwarded to the journal. Then you have to make good paper so that journal accept your paper. This thing all responsible to the conference organizer. So sometime conference organizer just say, just you have to improve your paper so that your paper submitted to the journal. These are the conditions. Sometimes maybe directly submitted to the journal by the conference organizer. Sometimes some changes required for the submission of the paper to the conference, to the journal. So this is a good way, and this is possible to after the conference paper may be submitted to the journal.
Which type of paper is better for achieving feedback from a
Result paper having good mathematical calculations, paper having good simulator results, paper having good graphical results, paper having good architecture, recent architecture, latest architecture, that kind of paper must be submitted to the journal. If paper having light work, then journal immediate reject the paper.
Is there any question for everyone? You can type or raise your hands. Okay, I will wait.
Actually, for first we have to check the journal. Then we have to submit paper to the journal. I can show you how we can check the journal quality. I am just adding cloud computing Springer journal. This is a good journal. In this journal, I can show you. This is home page, and now in this just little network problem. Kindly wait it. Just wait. Yes, this is Journal of Supercomputing. This is home page, and home page you have to see this. This is impact factor. Journal impact factor 2.5, 2.4, and you can see submission to the first decision 93 days. After 93 days, you will get result decision, first decision. Paper may be revised, paper may be reject, paper may be accept. ठीक है ना? And after that, you have to see indexing. One of the best thing. In journal, you have to check the indexing. In this, you can see indexing. This is Scopus index, SCI index. So this is better journal. You have to check journal is Scopus or SCI. Then you have to go for the submission. If this kind of indexing is not given, then don't proceed for the submission. Just focus on Scopus and essay index. This is the answer. On journal homepage, you have to go, you have to find the information, submission, and everything. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, got it, sir. I think there are no question again from the participants. So we have reached the time limit as we approach the end of our time together. I would like to thank our speaker, Mr. Mobo and Mr. Rana, for sharing their expertise and insights today. Before we wrap up, we'd love to take a photo with all of you guys. Please open your cameras now. Mr. Rana, can you close the share screen, please? Okay. Okay, everyone can turn on your camera. Okay, Miss Kiki, can you help me to screenshot? Hello?
Okay,
Thank you.
Miss.
Thank you,
Okay, Miss,
Supriya.
I'm ready.
Okay. Can you count down, please? Miss Kiki?
Yes, already done.
Then?
Okay.
Okay, thank you to everyone who joined us today. If you have any further questions or would like to continue the conversation, please feel free to reach out to us via Instagram or LinkedIn at Generasi Peneliti. And don't forget to register at our next conference, RABC 2024. And thank you very much. Mr. Mobo and Mr. Rana, have a great evening, and we hope to see you at our future webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Good night, everyone.